I think you'll be able to tell very quickly if Tales for the Loop, the latest original series on Prime Video, is for you or not. It's a very, very odd little series. I don't know that I've seen such an odd series from Prime Video since Too Old to Die Young, which was another example of this series where there just wasn't a lot of buzz around it. And I was like, is this a big series or not? And then I watched it and I'm like, wow, they really put a lot of time and effort into this. And I just don't think that many people are going to watch it. But I really enjoyed it myself, and I'm going to explain to you why. But first, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe so that you can see more videos like this one. And let me know if you like the video by giving it a like. It makes me feel really warm and fuzzy inside when you do that. So, the Tales from the Loop is the story of these townspeople who live above the loop, a machine built to unlock and explore the mysteries of the universe, experience things previously consigned to the realm of science fiction. It's an odd little series. It's an anthology, and I was a little confused at first because it was advertised as TVY, which makes it sound like it's a kid series. This is not a kid series. Actually, the episodes vary in terms of content, because I would say episodes 1 and 4 were pretty much G-rated, but then episode 3 and 2, there were definitely moments where I was like, oh, no, this is a TVMA show, so be aware of that. I think there's a little bit of an advertising kerfuffle there that could deter some people that are more interested in adult entertainment from watching, and maybe lead some people to watch this with their kids when I don't think this is for kids at all, but that's just my 2 cents. So the basic concept, it's an anthology series. The creator describes it.
Essentially, there was the discovery of the eclipse, which is the spherical object that exists at the core of the loop facility, and the loop was built around it to conduct experiments with fringe physics.
And characters kind of reappear and appear throughout. You see some people in the beginning that pop up later in like episodes that are focused on them, because there's families, and you see like the parent in one episode, and then the next episode the parent will actually be the focus of the story. So that's an interesting approach.
And these artifacts from experiments kind of litter the landscape, and our characters encounter these discarded remains.
The actors in this series include Rebecca Hall, who's very, very good, Jonathan Pryce, who I've always found a little bit milquetoast as an actor. I know a lot of people love him, and he's very hot right now, fresh off of a Best Actor nomination at the Oscars. But he's just not my man, but he does a nice job here. And Paul Schneider. Those are the actors that were the most recognizable to me, but there are definitely some really good actors in the cast that I'm probably forgetting to mention. It's based on the art of Simon Stalenhag, and I think that this show gets a big boost from the visual ideas that he had. I think they're very interesting. They're very engaging ideas, and they're so artful and so poetic in their construction that you almost feel like this story is deep just when you're looking at these images. And the idea I think that he really captures in his images is this juxtaposition of the Midwest and small town life with these sci-fi images, and I think it's really interesting. Going into this, I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. I had heard it described as stranger than Stranger Things, and that's not an accurate encapsulation of this at all. It's nothing like Stranger Things. I don't know that there's an analogous show, and I think that's part of what makes it really charming to me, is that it's just so in its own zone. It's very much a hipster show, I would say. I would say that it's the type of show that you like if you're the kind of person who looks for offbeat things that aren't mainstream. It kind of has an independent film vibe, but it's very, very well directed throughout. It has some very, very high-profile directors, including Jodie Foster and Andrew Stanton. But overall, I felt like it had a unified voice. And the stories, some people might argue that there's not enough plot there, But from my perspective, there's just enough plot. And they work like really good short stories because there's an interesting hook at the beginning, there's a good inciting incident, and then at the end, there's like a kind of interesting wrap up where it kind of answers the question it set out to answer and it leaves you thinking. And I think that's just the thing that you want to do with a great short story, and I think it works really well as an anthology series. And unlike a lot of anthology series lately, I can see the connective tissue between these stories, and I can see the basic, how they kind of have a thematic similarity. Now, Jonathan Pryce, in promotional material for the show, described it as,
it's kind of a modern day version of Our Town, where the people of the town step forward and have their stories told. And they're all influenced by being part of the loop.
And I think that was really helpful for me to hear, because that helped me to see that this wasn't going to be like it wasn't going to be sci-fi heavy. Like, the sci-fi elements are definitely in this show, but they're very, very light. They're either like they're the cause of what happens in the episode, or they're kind of just sprinkled into the episode like salt and pepper. This is not a hard sci-fi show by any means. The technology is, peripheral at most. And it's really focused on basic human longings, human desires, the stresses and anxieties of growing up in a small town. And I really enjoyed it. I felt like the human focus worked for me. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments section. And if you're interested in seeing more reviews like this one, please subscribe to the channel. That's my review of Tales from the Loop on Prime Video.